Guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11. I want to welcome you back to the channel. Well guys, today we're going to do a quick tabletop review of the Smith Wesson SD9VE. VE stands for Value Enhanced Edition of this SD series pistol. First thing we want to do is go ahead and ensure that the firearm is in fact unloaded. We have an unloaded magazine right here that we'll be using for demonstration purposes. Okay, full magazine because this pistol is kept for home defense. Now, usually I keep one in the chamber around the house, but this pistol is about to be cleaned, so I went ahead and cleared the chamber out. And we'll just kind of go front to back, top to bottom, and let you know what I think about this pistol. I just got back from the range with it. I fired 150 rounds. The range test is up on my channel, and you should be able to see it here whenever you want. Now, I owned one of these pistols about 4 years ago. I don't remember what I paid for it. I think I paid around 350 bucks, $330. Sold it after a year. I had some bad luck with that model. It was having some failure to return to battery issues and so on. This pistol, I don't know if it's newer in the production line or what the deal is, but it is so much better than the SD9 that I owned just 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know if it's more broken in. I did buy it used. I did pick it up at SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska, and I paid around $250 for it, and I'll put the contact information for SS Pawn in the video for you. Now, just some information about it. The trigger pull weight is about 8 pounds, 8.5 pounds. From what I've been able to find online, I don't have a trigger pull scale. You can get some aftermarket trigger kits, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. Capacity is 16+1. It kind of falls between a Glock 19 and a Glock 17, and it's compared quite often with the Glock 19, and we'll talk about kind of the dimensions on that in a minute here. The weight is 22.7 ounces. Like I said before, capacity is 16+1. You get these nice chrome-plated magazines with you when you buy it. You get 2 of them. Usually you can buy one of these brand new, depending on how much you pay for sales tax, around $350 out the door. Sometimes they're on sale. Sometimes you get them for $320, $330. You just want to look around a little bit and to see what's out there. Now, there's a few features on it that keep the price a lot lower than, say, an M&P series pistol, but then there's also a lot that this pistol actually has to offer. It does just come in just a basic cardboard box. I guess just from front to back, what do you need to know? Well, we've got some nice 3-dot sights on the back. At the range, I loved using these sights. Very easy to get a clear sight picture. I could shoot really, I shot great with this thing. And I'll try to weave some footage of shooting at the range in this this tabletop review. You've got some scallops on the top, not quite as aggressive as other pistols that you might see, but they're more than adequate for getting a good purchase on the slide to chamber around. Also, if you need to do press checks, you have that option too. I don't ever do that, but you can. They're nice. It's got nice molded edges all the way around, melted edges, which would make it, I think, decent to conceal with the right holster. They are polymer sights, so you just want to be careful not to hit them hard against anything. But there are plenty of aftermarket parts available for this pistol out there that you can get. You've got these nice memory rests, is what I like to call them, fingerprint rests on here, where you can rest your index finger and your thumb. Okay, when you correctly grasp the pistol, it gives you a place to rest your thumb. And again, the pistol is marketed as a self-defense pistol, so it doesn't necessarily have the kind of trigger that you might expect on other guns, say like a Glock or like a CZ for that matter, or even just an M&P. Takedown, I won't be doing the takedown in this video because I have a cleaning video on it that you can watch. Very similar to a Glock though. You just grasp the pistol like this, pull down on these little notches right here, let go, pull the trigger, slide's gonna come right off for you. I wish that they would make these just a little bit larger. There's an aftermarket part you can buy, so it's not an easy pistol to take apart. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 times before I finally get that held just right so that I'm able to release the slide. You do not have an ambidextrous slide stop. Some people like to call that a slide release. You only have it on the left side of the gun, so if you're a right-handed shooter, the pistol is basically set up for you. You do not have an ambidextrous magazine release, nor is it reversible from what I can see. It does not appear that you can reverse the part because of the way that the molding is set up on it. So the pistol is very much biased towards the right-handed shooter. Again, one of those things to keep the cost down. The lower receiver is a very sturdy polymer. It's a standard Picatinny rail up on the front. I think it's what, a 1913 series. Picatinny rail would accept most, if not all, of your Picatinny accessories like lasers and lights and so on. And I'll show you what it looks like with the TLR1 on here in just a second. On the top, you have a nice matte finish. The finish all the way around is nice and smooth, however, it is very easy to get a grasp on when you need to charge the firearm. You do have a little hole in the top that you can use, a loaded chamber, I guess you could say indicator, but it's nothing that physically comes up out of the top. Got a nice beefy extractor, looks like it's going to handle a lot of abuse. When you take the firearm apart, underneath the hood, it looks a lot like a Glock series pistol, and I believe that Smith Wesson and Glock had to settle out of court because Glock said that Smith Wesson copied their design way too much when it came to this pistol when they marketed it and came out with it. I do have a polymer polymer rear on the top of the slide. The grip itself has a nice aggressive checkering on the front and the back. So much so that by the time I was done shooting 150 rounds, I didn't have tired hands or tired wrists, but I did notice that the back of my, like the webbing of my hands were starting to get just a little bit ground up, just from the motion of the pistol firing so much. But with gloves on, it would not be an issue. You do have a pretty decent amount of space down here for on the trigger guard. Okay, not so aggressive texturing on the left and right side, which is fine. Where you really need it is on the front and the back. One thing about this though is the size. It has a tendency to fall kind of between a Glock 17 and a Glock 19. I had a 17, I actually sold it. One of the reasons why I have not purchased a Glock 19 is because of this. When I grip the Glock 19, my pinky has a tendency to rest where the magazine is, and it kind of pushes up. I can't find a comfortable spot to rest my pinky on the Glock 19. On this pistol, on the SD9VE, it's just a little bit longer, so I'm able to rest my pinky on there and get a proper purchase on the gun, get a good grip on the gun, so I'm able to shoot it and shoot it well. The trigger itself, now let's talk about this. Okay, I owned a Sky CPX2 for 3 years. Okay, it was my daily carry. Fired, close to 1,000 rounds through it. Nothing major, not a lot, but enough to get used to it. Now that pistol had a very heavy, between 10 to 12 pound double action trigger pull, which meant that it was consistently tight all the way through and then it would break. The SD9, a lot of people complain about this trigger saying it's mushy, there's no definite breaking point. I guess when you have a lot of experience with pistols, you can get used to a pistol's trigger. It's not impossible, and there are aftermarket kits you can buy. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. You can just take the mag out. It will fire without the magazine in it. So what happens is you have a little bit of take up on it, and it just goes like you feel it tighten. And it's almost like a double action pistol, like a revolver. Okay, you don't really have that definite wall before it breaks like a Glock pistol. Some people hate this about it. Some people really don't care. Some people don't like the notch trigger down there. So it's just tight and then goes. Check the reset. And it's about half an inch, I suppose, maybe 3/4 of an inch, half an inch or so. Now, the way that it feels here as I dry fire it, it feels so much different when you actually have ammunition in the firearm, when you're actually at the range shooting it. You don't notice it. What you notice is just a tight take up in the trigger, and then it just fires. So I was completely used to it. I think I had one shot out of all the different groups that I shot with the 3 different types of ammo where I felt like I might have double tapped inadvertently, that I had fired a second shot really quick and I didn't mean to. But I mean, really, the trigger, it just doesn't bother me. I don't know what people complain about. Part of the problem is that you kind of compare this to the M&P, and the M&P has a much better trigger, especially the M&P 2.0s, and people expect that in this pistol. And in order to keep the cost down, in order to keep basically these things at the price point that they're at, there's a few things that Smith & Wesson has a tendency to skimp on. Now, with that being said, you can get an aftermarket trigger kit made by Apex, or Apex Technologies. You can look it up online. And what it does is it reduces the trigger pull by 2 to 3 pounds, maybe even more. Okay, so much so that you're looking around the 5.5 pound range when you install it. And it also replaces the trigger with a one-piece unit with a blade style safety on the trigger, very similar to what you find on a Glock handgun. So you do have that option if you want to, but there's a lot of people that complain about how they have to almost do some minor gunsmithing on that trigger to make the striker engage. I don't want to take that kind of a chance on a pistol like this that's going to be used for home defense, a truck gun, a range gun, an all-around pistol. I need to know that it's going to fire, so I really don't feel like modifying the trigger at this time. I may buy one. Some people say install the whole kit, but just leave off the striker spring, keep the original striker spring, and you're going to be okay. I may experiment with it. I really don't know. Now, the guide rod on the pistol is polymer, which was one thing that drove me nuts about the first SD9 that I had. In fact, I had to replace it with a steel guide rod unit, spending about another $35 with with the spring combo in order for the pistol just to function properly. This one had no issues at all. And I feel kind of dumb right now because I've actually got another stainless steel unit coming in the mail that I purchased off eBay. There's a company selling them for 20 bucks now, and apparently they work just fine. They work just as good as Galloway, which is the company that I recommend you go to, but Galloway, many times they're sold out of the recoil spring and guide rod for this pistol. Okay, so overall, just an awesome little gun. Magazines fall right out. Got a nice sight radius there. You've got a real sight clear picture. You've got an excellent purchase you can get on the gun. I love it. I love it. I'm not trying to, be a whatever you're gonna call them, like a sellout or whatever for Smith & Wesson, but for not firing one of these things in 4 years and just taking it right out of the box and just shooting it and having a great time with it. And this was even a used one. I was very happy with the results. So For right now, I mean, I'm still pursuing getting another Glock 17. I'm putting the money back for that. But for right now, this pistol is going to be filling home defense duty, truck gun duty, range duty, and so on. So let me just show you what it looks like with that TLR1 on there. I've got the 1913 Picatinny spacer on here. And it just snaps right on. You can tighten the screw. But what's nice about it is it allows you to have your finger in the proper place so that you can activate the light without having to really stretch. Now I've just got medium-sized hands, so it doesn't protrude more than, say, about an inch past the front of the barrel. So this is basically kind of filling that void that the Glock 17 that used to be in the home used to fill here at the house. So another thing I really like about it is the fact that it will take some Glock holsters. I've got a holster here for the Glock 17. Now this is just a cheap Blade Tech, or I don't know, not Blade Tech, Black Hawk that I bought. Just something to have at the range, you know, nothing. I usually use a Kydex holster, and this fits perfectly in my Glock 17 Kydex holster. So just to show you here. Okay, it does lock right in. No problems at all. So I'm able to use a lot of my Glock accessories with this pistol too, because like I said, I had a 17, so I've got, you know, magazine holders and Kydex magazine holders and magazine pouches and all that fun stuff. When it comes to the magazines themselves, okay, a couple cons about the pistol. The trigger, love it or hate it. Okay, some people can't stand the trigger, so a lot of people pass on the pistol. I would say try it at the range before you do pass on it. Another con about this is the magazine cost. When you look around online, the magazines cost anywhere between $30 and $40 a piece. But if you kind of search around for some deals, I ordered 2 magazines, okay, Smith Wesson standard magazines for the pistol, just like you see right here, and I got them for 20 bucks a piece, and I paid 8 bucks for shipping. So, you know, roughly $48.95. I've got 2 16-round mags coming. I'm not going to complain about that. If I can get mags for under $25 for any pistol, I'm going to be very happy about that. Okay, as you can see, capacity 16+1. They do market this in black with stealth gray, black with flat dark earth, chrome and black, and 9mm and 40 cal. And they also have a model with high vis sights that you can get from Smith & Wesson too, that's got the fiber optic sights on the front and the back. Me, I like the 3-dot sights. They're big enough and easy enough to get on picture that you have no trouble firing or getting on target. And so I'm okay with the sights as is. Unless I break them, I plan on not changing them or adjusting them at all. And I was taking this out to some fairly lengthy distances. I think I was upwards of around 50 yards, and I was still hitting a 12-inch target with no problems whatsoever. So I'm completely confident that this pistol is going to do what it needs to do, and I'm not going to have to worry about it, and it's going to function just fine. So, you know, should you buy one? Should you go out and get one? I think so, but I recommend that maybe you take one to the range first and see if you can live with the trigger. Once you've had the taste of another pistol like a CZ or a Glock or, you know, whatever, it's sometimes hard for people to come back to a trigger like this because they're so used to that tug and then that snap, that tug and that breaking point, that wall that you surpass that you don't feel with this pistol when you fire it. Again, for me, I pretty much knew when the gun was going to go off because there's a certain amount of tension that you feel in the trigger and the gun would fire. So yeah, you know, that's just one of the things that you need to get used to. I know I'm making a big deal out of it because when you go read the reviews on this gun, everybody says, oh, great pistol, love it, perfect price, hate the trigger, hate the trigger, hate the trigger. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. You know, take it out, shoot it, see what you think. For what you pay for it, I think you can just pretty much make it work in just about any kind of system. So there you go. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. Again, this is Travis P11. Please like or subscribe if you like what you see here. Guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also on gunchannels.com with the Ordinary Average Guy Gun channel. You can find me on Caliber Corner. It's a live podcast that we do on Saturday mornings around 8 a.m. on YouTube and also on gunchannels.com. If you're not on gunchannels.com, you need to get out there and get yourself a membership, sign up for a free account. You're going to be all set to go. All right, so again, guys, this was just a tabletop review of the Smith & Wesson SD9VE. I know there's 1,000 other reviews out there on YouTube on this pistol, but I just want to kind of get my take on it because if you watch my channel, you know I fired a variety of firearms on this pistol. I fired a variety of firearms on this channel, and this pistol really it does stand out as one of the better shooters that I've had. Oh, by the way, recoil, just completely manageable. Whether I was shooting steel case or aluminum or brass, perfect. I mean, recoil was not an issue whatsoever. I was able to stay on target, felt just like my Glock 17 or even my Taurus PT92 when I was shooting it. So there you go, guys. All right, so please like or subscribe, guys. I want to thank you for watching today. I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, guys, see you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.